you haven't had enough heroin or cocaine, you get the shakes. Or alcohol. Right? It's called a shake. So it seems simple, but it's a bit hard to pull off because the left hand has to stay very consistent. You know, when you're playing the balance, this is solid. And when you have something that's very solid, either that you're playing or somebody else is playing, then the soloist can be very free, especially in blues. The hardest part about writing blues licks down, I have this book that's called 1001 Blues Licks, and it's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen because of the way they're trying to write this stuff out. And because how do you write out, you know, it's like a gnat or like a little buzzing bee over the top. I mean, technically, I'm sure you could break it down rhythmically, but like to actually try to read that is kind of silly to me. Because it's something that you develop over time, is what I'm saying. When you start with very rigid rhythms, or if I'm going, which is very rigid, and then I go a little bit, those are triplets. If I go to 16 notes, it's a little bit faster, but it's still very rigid. And if I go faster, it's still very rigid. What I'm going through with you is like the steps that we're gonna have to take to get to be free, right? You have to do very slow rigid, a little bit faster rigid, a little bit faster rigid, a little bit faster until it becomes this like, and then you'll start to be able to be free with it. So my left hand is very solid, but this hand I can. So I'm not thinking rhythmically, I'm thinking more fast and slowy, right? So, and that's important with these shakes. So we start with a shake. Right. We can actually go through this with a shake. How about that? So, right? So that's right on the timeline that we've been studying with this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. And I'm starting on the upper note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have to practice that way, but then the other way, starting on the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? And that's all we know right now. So if you practice it there, when you come back, we can go a little bit faster. Or you can do, instead of 1 on each beat, you can do 2. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with my thumb, and then every other one was with my pinky. So still 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then starting with my pinky. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then fill in the space. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2. So if I'm playing fast, that's a baby shake. Dugga, dugga, dugga. So when your child is having heroin withdrawals.
There are
Right.
some.
But sorry about that. Yeah. Right? And at that point, you can experiment. We'll get there. But that's what a shake is. And so the things that you're talking about when you hear that Muddy Waters thing, it looks is more fancy than it is. Really what I'm doing, I'm shaking. You got the business part of your hand, you got your thumb. And you're going back and forth between those. So if I'm playing, what the Muddy Waters lick that you were asking about is this. Where you go. It's a really common thing to do. So what that is, you have your C7, first inversion, and you're kind of going back and forth between the top, the 4 fingers and your thumb. You have to be very relaxed. So it's that same. That's the baby way to do it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how you start. And eventually, you know, when you can do that, we can start talking about. Because it's just sort of like a twitch mechanism. It's hard to get your hand to do that and be relaxed because it's just like a flopping fish. But it's a very controlled flopping fish, which they are actually. And then, so you got your octave shake, which you can do on any note in the blues scale. Any of the notes of the blues scale. You got your C7 shake. And then the last one I'm going to give you is the other classic. Okay, this is another quick one, but it's something that you can do. You can do it either free, right? Slowing it, but you're not going to do it that yet. That's eventually. What you're going to do, it's part of the blues scale. It's F sharp, F, E flat, C. So you want to just be able to do this very relaxed, because it's like the shake that's just flopping. That's what it is. You're going really fast, but you're just doing F sharp, F, E flat, C over and over again. And if you remember your count, you do one of those for every count. So if I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'm doing 6 of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So every time I'm counting, I'm hitting an F sharp. That make sense? It's really fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Okay? And again, that's like the rigid version, but that's the step up to being able to just